Okay, so bit of an interesting situation occurred here. I got through recording this particular video, but I realized that during this particular run, unfortunately my microphone was not hooked up, and so I'm pretty much forced to do post-production commentary on this particular episode. Yeah, I knocked my microphone loose in between recordings, and so yeah, it happened after I got game over going through this particular path here. So it pretty much means that I have to do post-production commentary on what I see. Basically, I don't understand how it happened. I must have just knocked it loose enough so that it didn't work and I couldn't get my voice recorded for this particular run-through. So I've edited the video, and so I'm basically going to comment on whatever I see here. And hopefully I remember what happened. Because I know what happened when I got the game over before. It was against a particular opponent, and I hope I don't have to cross it again. But yeah, I ran into a lot of these turtles during the course of this particular run-through. Basically, it was a lot. I think I was running into streaks of like 5 battles in a row, 6 battles in a row, where I was fighting nothing but the turtles. And yeah, these things are pretty strong. They can absorb a lot of punishment. I mean, they're 54,000 points. They're pretty much expected to absorb a lot of punishment. And so, yeah, you basically have Lulu and Yuna do what they do best, and then have someone like Orin come in here and armor break them. But of course, you gotta be careful of attacks like this when they use Earthquake. You know, it's kind of a shame that they didn't have the float ability in this game, because it would definitely work in situations like that. And this. So, basically you're just trying to do everything you can to knock this thing down a peg or two. Of course, if you have what I have on my weapons, which is the Dark ability on the, I think it's called Dark Strike, and I have it on both Titus's weapon and Kimari's weapon, so obviously that's very important on a big guy like this. So now that I have everyone getting their attacks in, let's finish this sucker off. And yeah, it used another Earthquake on me, so definitely causes a lot of damage against you. Thankfully, if you maintain your persistence, you'll be fine. So now we get to have the opportunity to do some healing, because yeah, that's previous battle didn't go over quite as well. Plus, what going through this second round did basically allowed me to explore new paths, because as you've noticed on this particular map, it's not already laid out for you. You have to map the whole thing out yourself, and here is the opponent that cost me a game over in my first run through this particular area. I got it down to its 0. I got it down to 0, and then for its dying move, it used Meteor, which is basically an automatic game over attack. So anytime you cross that thing around here, it's best to run. So you basically have a situation where fighting that thing is a bad idea. And you notice that waterfall, that's something we have to go around to the top of to get a particular item. And it's a really good one too. So this is where we got into the stretch here where I was really starting to get run into the turtle a lot of times in a row. Like it was getting pretty crazy at this point. As I mentioned before, I was getting like 5 battles in a row with the turtle, 6 battles in a row with the turtle, and it can take a lot out of you for sure. I mean, it can't be easy to fight the same opponent, as tough as it is, over and over again. And obviously trying to explore different paths, you can easily get stuck around here when you are just basically making the map yourself. And since I have both Lulu and Yuna now with Kiraga, it makes life a little easier for Yuna, since she doesn't have to rely on healing so much. And especially when you get to this point in the game, that is a very, very big deal. To know that you have the Kiraga ability on more than just Yuna. So this is particularly important chest. The Special Sphere allows you to take someone like Yuna and move her to any other special ability that has already been activated by anyone else. In this case, I was able to use it to get over to where Lulu had double casts. And so that is a very, very huge thing, because now both Lulu and Yuna have the double cast ability. So that's very significant. So basically, this was an opportunity for me to contemplate my next move, because I know for a fact that, well, since I'm doing this commentary and post-production, I know that there's still going to be a lot of opposition, very formidable opposition headed my way. And so I can't take them lightly at all. So now we go back the way we came, and upon the path I took, I was able to come across, among other things, a triple threat of these guys. Yeah, these guys are pretty much only attack by Waka only, or burn them with magic. However, the magic on these things, they have pretty good magic defense, as you saw. The one actually suffered only half of its health lost when Firog was used there by Yuna. And so in a situation like this, you're pretty much going to have to use the opportunity to really use just Waka and the aerialists. And rather than choose Riku to steal something, I decided to just have the battle be over and done with. And so yeah, look at Waka go! Yeah, that was definitely one of the highlights of this particular video, was seeing Waka getting high on a couple of cans of Red Bull. So, we got the Phantom Ring, and that is a Yuna armor. And this is pretty cool armor, because it has Water Eater, Fire Eater, and Lightning Eater, all of which are absorbing abilities. And so it's definitely worth it to have that as opposed to a status affection if you're in a situation, of course, where you're in an area where there's a lot of elemental magic being used. So definitely something you want to take seriously. And you know that, of course, you're pretty much getting close to the end when you have the really ominous music playing. So by this point, I'm pretty much have faced a lot, and I mean a lot of the turtles. I mean, I was really going nuts. I was thinking like, geez, there are way too many turtles around here. Because this was really taking me a lot longer than I thought it would. The turtles by themselves brought this particular effort to over 45 minutes of recording. And in this particular battle, I just had to leave this one in here to show you what happens when something unprecedented occurs. All three of these aerialists use their group attack as opposed to their confusion attack, and as a result, I almost got game over again. So yeah, that was pretty much freaking me out, and I was not going to waste my time with that battle, so I was forced to forfeit. Yeah, when an unprecedented situation like that happens, you're really in a bad spot there. So now I'm contemplating whether to use an ability like Yuna or Lulu, or use high potions. But in this instance, I chose to use both the combination of Mega Potion and High Potion, just so it'll lighten the load on my team a bit, so that I'm not so worried about healing. But yeah, you're covering a lot of real estate around here. And then we get these two Iron Giants to deal with. And what's really strange about the Iron Giants, you'll see that one absorbs fire and lightning, but the other one absorbs blizzard and water, which is really weird for the way they set this up. So basically my plan of attack was just to go for broke here. I mean, I'm causing some pretty good damage against these guys, getting the criticals. Of course, it also helps when the evade ability, the evade and counter ability helps you. And so, this is where I bring in Yuna. And of course, since that thing absorbs fire and lightning, we have to use something else. So one Iron Giant is down. And now for the other one. So now, basically, as you see, it absorbs water and ice. So it's the opposite of the other Iron Giant. So now we bring in Lulu so she can score. And she unleashes Firaga, which has pretty much been my go-to spell over the duration of this game. Leaping Swing, that has the potential to be very damaging, but more often than not, your party members can avoid it. And if you steal, you'll get a light current from it. So basically now we're just going to try and end this as fast as we can. And as a precaution, I chose to leave the magic casters out of the battle as much as I could. Obviously because I didn't want to run into a mental lapse where I accidentally used the wrong spell and healed the Iron Giant. And there goes Waka once again, high on Red Bull. Yeah, but as you saw, he was definitely the main beneficiary of all these battles. He was pretty much in every single one of them. So this is we're pretty much at about 2/3 distance covered, I would say. So it's not that much further. So here came the ugly monster again that did me in before. And for some reason, I thought I could eliminate it like I could eliminate any other standard enemy with the Shooting Star Overdrive. But when I tried it, it stood its ground. And that basically meant that Orin squandered his overdrive, and since I was not going to wait for the inevitable, I ran for my life. Yeah, that was not cool what happened to me in that particular situation. But as you can see, we're getting near the finish line, which is good. And yeah, there were a lot of turtles, as I said. I think at least a dozen or so battles alone were the turtles. And then everything else. So I decided to leave this battle lane just to make the video a little bit longer. So this is my opportunity to get the opportunity to give the other players more points. Because, yeah, for the most part, Lulu and Yuna are going to be your main sources of damage. And that's a rare instance where they actually scored on me. Yeah, I think Waka is not as able to evade opponents as well as characters like Orin and Lulu. So it's definitely something you want to take into consideration when you're fighting these things. But ultimately your persistence will pay off. And it was going to need to here because we had to bring in a bit of desperation because I was running low on magic. Since I really couldn't think of much to do, my only real option was to have Riku do the healing. And then just stay on offense. So that's eliminating one Iron Giant. And then we start going after the other one. Yeah, the turtles really sapped a lot of my MP in this particular battle. So much so that Lulu couldn't even cast Firaga anymore. Her last spell had to be a Fira. That shows you just how much it took out of my two magic casters. But we're pretty much near the end with these guys. It won't be much longer now. So, as a precaution, I just throw another Albed potion their way. And we have another overdrive ability learned. And then we just go ahead and finish off the last Iron Giant. So everyone scores 15-6, except for, I believe it was Kimari who got left out there. Anyway, so yeah, that's pretty much the end of my attempt at post-production commentary after screwing up before, but that's pretty much going to do it for today. So I'd like to thank everyone for watching the continuation of Let's Play Final Fantasy X, and when I join you again, we will make our way up this staircase. So until next time everyone, take care, and I'll see you soon.